I think it's time we have a very serious conversation about the implications of the existence of Netflix on the Dreamcatcher cinematic universe. First things first, if you're unfamiliar, the Dreamcatcher cinematic universe, from here on out to referred as the DCU, is the universe in which Dreamcatcher releases their work that isn't their indie musical side gig. It's the main course, if you will. While yes, the drink is nice too, really nice in fact, you don't go to a restaurant for their drinks, right? Now, I can already hear you guys coming, girl, if it's their main gig, why did it take them 3 years to put out a project and then another 4 for the next one? And to that I say, you can't rush talent. Anyways, with the recent release of their latest project, Duke Chef, came the very exciting reveal of their new production company, Netflix, and the obvious jump in quality that comes with being backed by a production house, and the possibility of future projects, fingers crossed. All that just to say, I feel like we're at the cusp of the DCU expanding past anything we've seen to date, so it only feels appropriate that we take a deeper look at the previous projects that have gotten them this far. Taking things back to the tremulous times of 2020, I know, dark times, I apologize, we did get the soon-to-be cult classic The World of Duke out of it though, and if you haven't seen it, or any of the other videos in fact, I highly recommend you go do that before you continue watching this. I'd hate to be the one to ruin the experience for you, so please, go watch them if you haven't, I'll have the videos linked down below.
Are you guys fucking ready? Let's go!
It's a warm spring afternoon, and after 2 months of being on lockdown, I think we were all getting very bored and looking for safe ways to occupy ourselves. For some, that meant picking up a book they've been meaning to get to, but for rising indie band Dreamcatcher, that meant using their creative juices for what they were always meant to be, and accidentally launching the start of the DCU with the release of their magnum opus, The World of Duke. We hear a woman narrating over some clips of what is presumably a happy family, a beautiful husband and wife, Ji and Sunwoo, and their kid. We cut to the next scene where Sunwoo then finds a hair under her husband's scarf, except it's not her reddish brown, it's darker. Distraught and unable to focus on her job with her husband's infidelity looming over her, she confides in her colleague about her findings and how he had left his phone unlocked, as if he already suspects her of questioning his loyalty. I think Sunwoo should be questioning her friend's loyalty, because instead of having her back, she accuses her of overreacting and acting crazy. I am as distraught as the protagonist, because what do you mean you're scary? Something fishy is going on with Miss Nurse. Unable to resist having to know the truth, she crosses the line and snoops through his phone anyways, only to find the worst. She was right not to trust him. We're going at a neck-breaking pace here, because then we cut to the husband laughing, giggling even, with his mistress. A flashback of how they met, giving us insight into Dakyoung, the mistress, and how her and the cheating husband met. The pieces start clicking into place. It seems the doctor has a type. Cut back to Sunwoo scrolling to Ji's phone, dozens upon dozens of pictures of him with his side piece. How long has this gone on for? And how long had she been fooled by everyone around her? Distraught and with newfound determination, she knew what had to be done now. Revenge. But she had to be smart about it. No one knew she was aware of his infidelity, meaning she had the upper hand on him in the confrontation. First though, she confronted her so-called friend, Miss Nurse. Shocked at the revelation that she now knows too, caught knowing her best friend's bastard husband was cheating on her and not telling her, the nurse tries to backpedal, which only angers Sunwoo. We see a stellar performance of Kim Soo-ah portraying Sunwoo here. You can feel the storm brewing behind her eyes, the rage emanating from her is palpable. Cut to a meeting of all involved people. Our girl decides what better way to drop some news than at a surprise dinner party. We get inside. The wife, cheating husband, the young mistress, and her parents all sharing a lovely dinner. But the show is over, and Sunwoo drops the bomb of the episode. Not only did the husband have an affair with Dakyoung, he got her pregnant. Gagged me, gagged everyone watching, gagged her parents like, yo, this is juicy! He obviously tries to deny it, saying it's a misunderstanding, but Sunwoo beats him to it. The husband is such a piece of shit and Dakyung is a homewrecker. Love is no excuse for that. She did not take being clocked well because she crashes out and tries to hit her. Like, girl, you're the one who slept with that married piece of shit, come on now. Satisfied with embarrassing them like that, Sunwoo is on a little stroll on her way home, only for the crusty ass ex-husband to follow her out and stop her. She said, "You wanna talk? Let's talk. You are never seeing our son again." He freaks out and has a meltdown in the middle of the street like it's not his actions that brought them here, and she clocks him immediately. He's back on his "it's not wrong to fall in love" bullshit, and the two go their separate ways. We cut to the final scene. A title card pops up. 2 years later, we see our girl receiving a letter. She opens it up, and it's an invitation to her ex-husband and his mistress's house party. Fade to black. They left us on a cliffhanger, followed by radio silence. Everyone on the absolute edge of their seats, waiting, dying to know what happens next. And then, 48 hours later, a new video titled "The World of Duke," the last episode, dropped. We open with a now familiar intro. In case that I've forgotten, we get a little replay of the last scene, except this time it doesn't cut to black, but to the party itself. The homewreckers seem to have made a little home of their own. Guess that is easier to do without a pesky wife in the way. Side tangent, I'll never understand people that would date cheaters. Like, girl, he cheated on his wife at the time with you. What makes you believe he wouldn't do that right back to you? Also, the baby seems quite large for its age, but I'm not gonna sit here and fat shame a baby, so I guess we're all just collectively gonna ignore that. Plot twist, or mistranslation, the house party turned out to be a wedding. 2 new beginnings, I guess? We see the son in attendance seated next to a new character we have yet to meet. The camera cuts to the lovely couple sealing their marriage, before it cuts again to our Sunwoo looking uncomfortable. The other guests seem thrilled to be there though. Unable to stomach seeing the two get together officially without clearing the air, Sunwoo makes it clear to Dakyung that her now husband is stalking her and warns her to keep an eye out, and she seems to take it into consideration at least. Next up, we get a scene of the mystery guest from the wedding trying to dig up some dirt on Sunwoo's current relationship status. Needless to say, the interaction did not go in her favor, and not to be shady, but this interaction might as well not have even been here with how irrelevant to the plot it was. We literally never see mystery guest again. Anyways guys, strap in because it's about to get crazy. Our exes meet up again after years. They're sharing a few glasses of hot chocolate and reminisce about their love. What went wrong? What could have been? But Sunwoo has heard enough. The feelings of long lost heartbreak becoming too much. She tells him he needs to leave, and they break out into a physical fight. They tussle and tumble, and in the spur of the moment get caught up in a different kind of physicality. Their son catches them reuniting and runs away out of confusion. He leaves his mom a heartfelt rap to get his feelings across. He passionately explains that these two need to break up their toxic relationship and lets his mom know it's alright for her to leave. The news of her son running away tips our girl over the edge and right into the Han River, where she attempts to drown herself. Luckily, her ex-best friend finds and rescues her from her demise, and the two share a heartfelt emotional moment. Camera then cuts over to G, who watched the whole thing unfold, and he chooses to turn around and walk away. He somehow finds his son and slaps him for no fucking reason. He is obviously very upset and calls his mom crying, begging to come pick him up from his piece of shit dad. No longer able to live with the knowledge that the husband cheated again, this time in the reverse of the last time he cheated, Sunwoo goes and tells Dakyung the truth. The husband then gets kicked to the curb from the place he was staying at by his father-in-law, who smacks him right across the face. Good God, I've been waiting for someone to finally hit this man. Thank you, father-in-law. This is how G finds out that his current wife now knows that he cheated on her, and goes to gaslight his way into her heart again. But the damage has been done, buddy. Dakyung now realizes that she should have listened to Sunwoo and not trusted him. Sunwoo gets home with a lighter heart, and as she's setting down her bag, she sees a note from her ex-husband explaining that he's kidnapped their son. She obviously goes to get him back, and this was all just a ploy for the husband to get them all at the same table again, and tell her that he still loves her. It's always been her, and he forgives her, and therefore she should forgive him too. Like the audacity of this man. unmatched. She then says some of the realest shit ever and tells him to go kill himself. Gagged. So he goes and actually does that. He eats himself into traffic, but she saves him anyway because it's the right thing to do or whatever. Or maybe she still loves him. Who cares? I'm so over these two, like y'all deserve each other at this point. He treats you like a doormat and you're still giving him a chance? Bye. The son agrees with me because he just straight up dips. Then, 1 year later, the son comes back home after making his debut in Dreamcatcher. Holy shit, like wow, what a story. This was so captivating, short but packed a punch, very concise in his storytelling but not too much to the point where you don't understand what's going on. Great structure too, I enjoyed the non-linear storytelling. The tension, the drama, the pacing, like a lot of effort went into this and it paid off. The soundtrack was stellar, the way it always set the mood for each scene, from really tense or dramatic moments to the softer, more emotional scenes, genuinely some of the best music in media I've ever heard. Suwon Shion should have been swimming in awards for this a cappella soundtrack. Amazingly done, this was snubbed. Performances all throughout were outstanding. Lee Shion was playing like 5 different characters by the end. Kim Soo was in her acting bag, putting on the performance of a lifetime. Lee Ga-yeon did a fantastic job conveying the crazy mistress, and Lee Yoo-bin did very well as his son. Kim Yoo-hyun did not keep it together for her one scene, but that's alright, that just means there's room for growth. We also got a behind the scenes peek at the show's production, and from that it seems like we have Kim Soo-won and Lee Shion to thank for bringing this masterpiece to life. I think they did a great job conveying the plot and executed the overall filming really well. For their debut title, you have to admit they did a pretty good fucking job at creating a short film. After The World of Duke was released, Dreamcatcher's musical career skyrocketed, which meant that unfortunately their acting career was put on the back burner, and there it stayed, bubbling away in silence for years. And if we're being completely honest here, I did not think we were ever gonna see another project from them. The World of Duke was gonna be their one shot, one kill, and that would be that. A few days after their first ever Christmas concert though, Dreamcatcher Official put out the 7 Doors of Christmas A Lucky Encore VCR, which isn't unusual at all. They sometimes upload the VCRs of their concerts onto YouTube for fans who couldn't be there or whatever to enjoy. It's usually just B-roll of the girls looking pretty over some instrumental or short clips of the girls behind the scenes. This one, however, was not any of that. Yeah, you saw it right. I have to break the fourth wall here for a second. You're telling me the face of rock in K-pop, global sensation Dreamcatcher, these girls, a girl group, paid for a professionally produced, like annoyingly professional, they have fucking crane shots in this bitch, Christmas cooking competition show parody. Their first one, I get it. It was for shits and giggles, right? Just them bored during lockdown, filming on their phones, their $5 budget and a dream, right? Just for funsies. This shit has licensed music. Do you understand how crazy that is? They did interview sections, it has a mid-roll ad for fuck's sake. They probably spent a fuck ton of money making this just for fun to use as a concert VCR? Like, do you understand how insane it is for the quality to be this good? We start with another narration. The deep voice explains that the chefs are going to be battling it out to win the title of Christmas Cooking Champion. Who will climb the ranks? Who is going to make it to the top? And most importantly, who will be the last one left to survive? Introducing our chefs, Bath Goddess Chusun, Side Dish Master Dongdong, Squinty Eyes Yuton, Chef Doronja, and finally, the Minute Mafia.
Blah blah blah, proper name, place name, backstory stuff.
Daddy the grand master, daddy I want it faster, them bitches you're fucking with, I know.
Judging them will be National Cookie Master Baek Bora and Korea's superstar chef An Singjae. This is a tough lineup of juries, our chefs will have to cook it up in order to impress these two. First mission on the chopping block for the chefs is to cook a homemade Christmas dinner. Sounds pretty simple, but those are usually the hardest, especially if you don't have a point of reference. This is a very open round, we got an hour on the clock, let's see what our chefs cook up. An hour might seem like very little time for a meal, but these are seasoned professionals you're seeing hard at work here. Chef Mafia is putting that tattooed forearm strength on display here, she's putting on quite the showcase. Cooking is all about the balance of the flavors, which we see all chefs here playing with a bit. I'm very curious to see what the end result will end up being for this round. It's important to make a good first impression. Chef Jusan is up first, and she chose to make a braised chicken dish, topped with raw vegetables. pretty good choice for a Christmas dinner. It does feel very homey, but that's for the judges to decide. They seem to enjoy it. Judge Bara even throwing a cheeky little jab, she loves having a laugh. Next up is Chef Mafia, and she did say she was never home for Christmas, which might explain her dish choice, because she made a spaghetti bolognese with a side of unidentifiable meat, specifically eaten with your hands. An interesting choice, let's hope that doesn't negatively impact her score. Next up is Chef Dong Dong, who went all out with some ribs and mashed potatoes. How she managed to cook ribs within an hour, we'll never know, it's probably a trade secret. The judges complimented her sauce and the intricate flavor. Next up is Chef Dornja, who followed Chef Dong Dong's suit and chose to make hamburger steak with potatoes. How a hamburger patty can be considered steak is beyond me, but hey, who am I, right? No comment from the judges either. Final contestant of this round is Chef Yuton, whose headphones may have impacted her hearing the mission assignment because she chose to make strawberry canapes paired with Tabasco sauce. I would love to see what Christmas at her house looked like growing up, because what an interesting pairing. The judges' reaction was equally as unique to gauge, so it's really up in the air who's going to be removed this round. After some intense deliberation, the judges are ready to announce their final decision. Fortunately, the chef who is eliminated from the first round is
김유톤입니다.
김유톤 탈락.
탈락해서 아쉽지만 남은 분들 모두 화이팅입니다.
I would love to be able to say that this is surprising, but come on now. Chef Yuton, keep being your unique self, one day someone will appreciate it. Alright, the survivors who made it to round 2 are going to be competing in duos against each other. We got Team White, consisting of Chef Dong Dong and Chef Juson, and Team Black of Chef Dornja and Chef Mafia. It's the winter dessert round, with again, 1 hour on the clock. Now, working together with multiple chefs in the same kitchen is a challenge in and of itself, and I'm curious how the teams are going to play out. Team White seems to have gone for a more traditional approach and are choosing to make bongopang, whereas Team Black chose to make hoppang. They might regret that decision though, as there seems to be some time pressure. Chef Mafia is confident in her abilities though.
저는 30분 안에 가능하다고 생각했죠. 뻥 100인분도 쪄봤으니까.
Over at Team White, there seems to be some tension regarding what filling they should use. That's the tricky part about working together. Sometimes there are compromises that have to be made despite any disagreements. We're about to find out who won the argument, because time is up and the dishes are served. Team Black, with their hoppang, is up first. They chose a red bean filling and paired it with a nice warm cup of hot chocolate. I don't know about the judges, but I'm sold. You had me with a hot chocky. Me and Chef Dornja are on the same wavelength. The judges have a love shot of the dessert and seem satisfied. It's now Team White's turn, and they went with a custard filling after all. It seems that Chef Dong Dong is quite a persuader, as is Judge Bora, because she somehow convinces Chef Xingje to have another unnecessarily romantic bite of food. After swallowing the bite and any feelings, the judges question the choice of custard over red bean, but it's hard to tell whether or not they agree with that choice. Let's hope it doesn't cost them this round. The judges seem to have a harder and harder time agreeing on who to eliminate as the rounds get tougher, but after a troublesome deliberation, they come to a conclusion anyways.
네. 이번 팀전 탈락자는
(30초) 후에 공개됩니다.
언니들 티야? 언니도 티 맞아.
Are you fucking kidding me? I pay for premium. This shit costs 14 euros a month and I still get mid-roll ads? Another fucking ad? I knew I should have pirated this. What is this even for? Wait a second. It's medicine for a cold? How the fuck does Netflix know I have a cold right now? What the fuck? Are they spying on me? Are they watching me write the script for this video?
네. 이번 팀전 탈락자는 요리하는 도전자입니다. 백수저 팀 탈락자는 최동동입니다. 수고하셨습니다.
요리하는 도른자님과 최동동님이 탈락하셨습니다.
Getting eliminated in the semifinals is rough, but the competition is tough. Tough as nails out here. Chef Dong Dong has the right mindset though. That leaves us with Chef Juson and Chef Mafia for the final round to determine who will win the title of Christmas Cooking Champion. The final mission is to make a Christmas cake, and trust the competition will be fierce. We got 10 minutes on the clock. Let's see who makes it out on top. The winner is gonna be in the details. The chefs are gonna have to pull out all stop, bring out the big guns. It's time to get serious. Chef Mafia is unfazed by the pressure, as nonchalantly confident as she has been this entire round. It's a piece of cake for her. Chef Juson, on the other hand, carries an air of quiet confidence, quite the contrast to the bravado of her competition. I gotta say, I don't know who's gonna take this one home. Both chefs have proven themselves time and time again, and with their contrasting styles, I really think it's gonna come down to personal preference of the judges. And you know, either way, I think every chef in this competition has proven themselves more than worthy of being great chefs. Back to our finalists though, as they are wrapping up the final dishes of the competition. For the last round, the judges will be doing a blind test to ensure a fair, objective judgment. First up is Chef Jusan, who prepared a mystery log cake. It seems like some of the powdered sugar shot down the wrong throat of Judge Bora. Wonder if that will impact the score. Again, it's difficult to gauge the judge's reaction here, so let's move on to Chef Mafia. She prepared a tiramisu. I have to say, it's a bold but great choice for winter, and the judges seem to agree. The blindfolds are removed and it's time for our final deliberation of the show. I have to say, it's been quite the ride to get here, and I'm super stoked to find out who's gonna take the title home here. I wish I could say I had a final guess, but I don't. I really don't. The judges have surprised me with their choices before, and I don't know, it could really go either way here. Judges seem to be having some conflict as well. I've said it earlier, the competition is tough, but a choice has to be made here. And the title of Christmas Cooking Champion goes to...
이번 흑백 요리사의 승자는 바로
크리스마스 요리 대결의 최종 우승자는 누가 될 것인가?
Now, I can feel what you're thinking. What the fuck is the point of a competition show if there is no final winner? Well, I agree, actually. But I think this serves as a good lesson. Life is not always a competition. It's a journey. At the end of the day, we're all winners who love winning. Dreamcatcher has only ever been in one survival show that they then dipped out of before it got juicy, so I guess I wanted to feel the thrill of a competition show without the actual stakes. And say what you will about Dreamcatcher, but these girls are nothing if not committed. They put their everything into these performances. Yuhyun did not break character once, and she had multiple scenes. What did I say about growth, guys? Hanlong is finally in this one as well. She had to miss the previous production, so I'm glad she made a reappearance in the acting world.
Think of me fondly when we say goodbye.
And Suwa literally became a man for this. A fine one too, but that's beside the point. And since we're on the topic anyways, Mob Boss Guy looked fine as fuck. Okay, there, I got it off my chest. Shits and giggles aside, this is annoyingly well made. Like, I'm genuinely impressed they did not have to do all that. This is produced better than the shit they're parodying. Like, crane shots? Really? Now you're just showing off. Very well structured as well. I like the addition of the interview sections, the reaction shots of the other contestants. Bitch, even the fucking soundtrack, they licensed actual music. Do you grasp how far they went for this? Like, they are constantly pushing 100. Like, I wish I had something to make fun of, but I don't. Because this was genuinely good, and that's annoying me, because now I look like I'm just not funny enough to think of something to say. But alright, that is everything currently under DCU. Again, I am very excited about the possibility of any future projects, considering the whole existence of Netflix thing. I said it earlier, but I had given up hope on anything ever being added to the DCU again, but hey, the latest project was shadow dropped, so maybe the next thing will be a surprise too. I'm at least holding out hope for that, and trust I will be sad that the second the next thing drops. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you have an amazing night, morning, day, whatever. Catch you in the next one. Love and peace.
Love and peace.
네.
Cheers.